Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Racing for round 16 of the championship. And quite fittingly for the series, it is a night race around the Marina Bay Circuit, the home of the Singapore Grand Prix, one of the toughest circuits on the calendar. The drivers will be tested with their mental concentration tonight. One lap qualifying as always, and then a 31 lap race, which could well see rain. Quite often you do in this part of the world. Of course, Malaysia and Vietnam not too far away as well. This could be an absolutely fantastic race. If you weren't with us last time for the Italian Grand Prix, it was Jonathan Cox who extended his championship lead, but Paulie Orange taking the win, and from pole position as well, despite earning himself a drive-through penalty in the end. Penalties did cost Roftas, who finished second, and Jonathan Cox finishing in third place, extending his championship lead. Who is it going to be today? Who is going to take the victory? And we are being told, thankfully by Andenge, that it is going to be a dry race, which I'm sure is a relief for all the drivers that we have got here tonight, that it is going to be dry. This track is tricky enough when it's dry. We've seen in 2017 with Sebastian Vettel how quickly things can go wrong when it is a wet race. Just waiting for the drivers to ready up then, and we will be going on board then with Farhad Devian, one of the reserve drivers in the Williams, for a guided tour around this circuit. Heavy braking then into turn 1, and then all the long way around as you come through 2 and 3. Slight kink at the left-hander for turn 4, then heavy braking again for the right-hander at turn 5, which brings you onto the DRS straight. He's starting on the medium tyres, as are a lot of the drivers. The mediums will be the better strategy in this race as he now comes through turn 6 and heavy braking once again to make the apex of turn 7. Just runs a slight bit wide there, and then 8 and 9, very fiddly part of the circuit here. In fact, quite a lot of the circuit, 90-degree left-handers really don't give the tyres any chance to rest. The old Singapore sling chicane then at turn 10. Now just a simple left-hander into turn 11, then coming now through 12, heading over the Anderson Bridge for the hairpin at turn 13. This leads you on to the next DRS straight. You might see some overtakes down here then, if the drivers are feeling brave enough, as we come towards the end of the second sector then for the right-hander at turn 14. Just missing the apex there, and it's very easy to find your way into the barrier. Quick left-hander at 15 makes it an awkward braking zone for 16, and then it is just 90-degree left-handers and right-handers pretty much for this entire section. He's been through 17, 18 and 19. Watch out for that barrier underneath there, which can get moved. Made his way fine through 20 into 21 now, and then flat on the throttle into the final couple of corners. This double apex left-hander, and Farhad Devian slowest of all with a 1:36.997. That puts him 14th, but 3 drivers didn't set a time, so you won't be too upset around that, and those that got into the top 10 on the mediums will be feeling very handy indeed. Energetic 6 then, with a pole position. If he finishes the race, he will get himself a nice 4 points, which I'm sure will be very handy indeed, seeing as he got knocked out of the top 10 in the championship last time. Fatality second, Roftas on the mediums is third. Andenge, Paulie Orange, Jonathan Cox, Nathan, Cruxy, KRC and Mars, those in the top 10. Ole, NUF1, Immortal and Farhad all tried getting through on the medium tyres into the top 10. They didn't, but they'll have fresh choice of tyres anyway, as well Alan, Art Vanderlei and CRX Gods, who failed to set a lap time whatsoever. So pole position for Energetic 6 does give him those 4 bonus points, moving him provisionally then onto 85 points in 11th on the championship. And let's go through the championship standings while we have an opportunity. Jonathan Cox then, as we mentioned, has extended his lead. He's now on 221 points. It is looking extremely close behind him though. Alan on 177. Paulie Orange, his win last time out, moving him up from 5th to 3rd. He's on 172. Andenge 168. Toto Pease, who is missing once again tonight, the dominant force from the start of the season, on 154 points. KRC 150, Gelato 116, Cruxy 96, Droftas is the highest reserve on 93, and Ole rounding out the top 10 for Ferrari on 89 points. And for the Constructors' Championship, Haas, you've got to say, are looking very good indeed. 114 points ahead at the moment. Still, though, both championships are wide open. 7 races to go, including tonight. Let's not forget the season finale, which isn't going to be at Abu Dhabi. The final 2 races of the season have been swapped around. It is going to be Brazil, because that is one of the marquee races here at Late Night Racing, and it will be double points to decide the championship. So 60 points will be up for offer on that final race. Make sure to check it out. You can see the suggested strategies there, and I would think that everyone that is starting on the softs will have to go for that 2-stop strategy. We knew Droftas, Jonathan Cox and Cruxy were starting on the medium, so a great job from them to get through to the top 10. And then outside the top 10 you have Ole, NUF1, Alan and Gods on the hards, Immortal, DVN and Art Vanderlei all on the medium tyres. It's going to be a very interesting first few laps, especially for this man in the Mercedes. A great result last time out, took the checkered flag first. It was just penalties though that cost him in the end, and really cost him any chance of getting what would have been an absolutely fantastic victory. For the reserve driver, he's got to be looking pretty good today, has Droftas, to potentially take a victory here, as will our championship leader Jonathan Cox. He's starting in 6th. He's not afraid of getting his elbows out. This strategy might just need him to be a bit more conservative than we normally see from Jonathan. He'll be hoping for a good performance in this race. He's got Paulie Orange, the winner from last time around, just ahead of him. And I say Jonathan Cox gets his elbows out. It has really been consistency more than anything that has won him the well, that is leading in the championship so far. He hasn't actually won since the Canadian Grand Prix, which was quite a while ago, I believe. In fact, we're talking about, what, 7 or 8 races ago now since the Canadian Grand Prix. So a long time since Jonathan Cox has been on the top step of the podium. Consistent podiums, though, do mean he's in the lead of the championship. And while one of the Hassers is 15th, the other one, Alan, disqualified for invalidating his lap during that qualifying session. He's starting 15th. He's on the hard tyres. It's all about the long game for Alan. Made a good comeback last time to get into the points. Was involved in an incident early on. Took advantage of other people's penalties in the end of the race to finish in 7th position. He'll really be hoping for a good performance today. It's starting to get to the stage for a few of these drivers, even though there is still a lot of points up for offer. 25 for a win, 4 for pole position and 1 for the fastest lap. And for both of those, you have to finish the race to be eligible for them at the end. So 30 points a meeting plus 60 points for the final race of the season at Brazil. A huge amount of points available. 240, I believe, still available. So 44-point lead is definitely catchable, as NUF1, our usual commentator, seems to be having a bit of trouble here, just having to do a 3-point turn. No damage done, obviously being a formation lap, and he didn't get disqualified from it, which will be good news for him. What won't be good news is that spin means these guys on the front row have got an incredibly long wait. Energetic 6 on pole position. Fatality alongside him. 2 drivers that we're not used to seeing right towards the sharp end of the order this season. 11th and 12th in the championship. 1-2 on the grid. Can either of them maybe, just maybe, convert this into a race victory as we wait then for the lights to come on here in Singapore? There we go then. We have got 3, 4, 5 lights here. And we're underway at the Marina Bay Circuit, and it is a good start then from Energetic 6. Seemed to get away well. Oh, there's been all sorts of carnage already in the background. There's a McLaren around that will be Nathan. So already on lap 1, all sorts. Jonathan Cox was involved in that as well. And I believe we have already got a virtual safety car. What on earth happened there? The incident was before we'd even got to turn 1. How have they managed that? There's all sorts of penalties already. This is a bit like the last race. We saw a lot of 5-second penalties on lap 1. And there we go. KRC, Mars, Dan, Vanderlei and Jonathan Cox, all with 5-second penalties. An absolute disaster for those drivers. Have any of them got any damage? And Jonathan Cox, yes, big front wing damage. Big trouble then for our championship leader. He's going to have a tough job. A, getting that car to the pits, and then B, being able to come back in this race. He'd have been hoping for a one-stop strategy after a very good qualifying session. That has completely gone out of the window. We're back to green flag racing then here. Energetic 6 of Fatality and Andenge all getting away well. Droftas in 4th place, and then sending one up the inside at the hairpin of Fatality. Fantastic move from the Williams driver as he tries to reignite his title charge and take advantage of the problems from Jonathan Cox. A fantastic move to get himself up into 2nd position then. On board with Droftas, so he'll be just thinking patience is key in these first couple of laps. Normally, if you're on the mediums, you have to wait a good while until they're better than the softs. He won't. By lap 2 or lap 3, he'll be on the tyres to be on, and it won't be too long after that we start to see a few drivers come into the pits. Nathan then, he's also got big damage. NUF1, I think, is just stuck behind Jonathan Cox more than anything. He now moves up to 15th, but big trouble for Jonathan Cox. I'm not quite sure what caused all that first lap carnage. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, we did see Nathan spinning across the track. DRS is not enabled. We are only on lap 2, and it is still Energetic in the lead from Andenge, and then Fatality, Droftas, Paulie Orange, KRC. Alan then, I think, is a long way down the order compared to where the game says he is there, and you can see he's behind one of the racing points. Got through that cleanly on the hard tyres, which is exactly what he would have wanted to do. There's KRC at the moment. I think he's got front wing damage, so I wonder if he was the one might have just tangled up with Nathan at the start. Definitely has the penalty, so I'm not sure if it was Nathan he tangled up with. I don't know if it was Jonathan Cox either, because he was a bit further ahead of Nathan, so I don't see how Jonathan Cox and Nathan would have come together. We'll have to see if the drivers shed any light on that after this race. And you can see Crux has just got so much more speed at the moment. This should be a fairly straightforward pass down the inside at the hairpin. And there we go, 6th position then for the Racing Point. A straight drag race between the two of them now. KRC's got the straight line speed. Can he get the car stopped in time? He's going to run wide, force Cruxy wide ever so slightly. Ollie with a fantastic view of this battle at the moment for 6th and 7th place, and he's thinking, you know what, I might just fancy getting involved in this. I might fancy sneaking my way up the inside of the Red Bull with a great opportunistic move down the inside into turn 18, and that is Ole up into 7th, and you have a feeling that it's not going to be long before we do see KRC coming into the pits. Droftas already earning a penalty. That's what cost him the win last time out. After 2 laps, he's already got one here, but he is pushing hard on those medium tyres. Works his way past Fatality. He is into 3rd place and has a huge moment there. Big moment from the Mercedes driver. Droftas now just straight up against Fatality. The Mercedes driver stays ahead for now, but he won't have DRS down this next straight. And the Ferrari driver will, and he's got a Haas behind him, with Paulie Orange looking very quick as well. So Fatality heads towards the inside line. Has he still got the grip left on those soft tyres to take the position? No, he hasn't. Great driving from Droftas to get that 3rd place then, and keep that 3rd place, I should say, as Paulie Orange tries to take advantage. And all this battling is just allowing Energetic 6 and Andenge to get away. There's 2 schools of thought when you're starting on the soft tyres here at Singapore. Do you A, take it steady and try to extend them as long as possible, or B, burn the life out there as quickly as possible to try and build a gap? But it does look as though Andenge and Energetic have gone for plan B, burn the tyres as quickly as possible, and you can see the gap they've got already over Droftas. Further back, KRC has pitted then, as has NUF1. We're on board with Alan on the hard tyres. Lead car on the hards is Ole, just 2 cars ahead of him. Mars already with a penalty, as does DVN Vanderlei. Jonathan Cox has picked up a 3-second time penalty as well. So if you're not familiar with the penalties on this game, drive-throughs have to be served within 3 laps. If you get any 5-second penalties, they get served in the pit stops, and the 3-second penalties that you'll see the drivers accumulate for multiple track limit warnings, they will be added onto your time at the end of the race. Of course, if you don't serve a 5-second penalty in a pit stop, that is also added to your time at the end of this race. Lap 4, and we'll have a look at the position changes then. This is the biggest winner then we are on board with. You said Alan needed a decent start to the race. He's gone up 6 places, partly due to the pit stops of a few other drivers, and one of them being one of the biggest losers from the start of this race. This man in the AlphaTauri, Jonathan Cox, 16th position at this moment in time on a second set of the medium tyres, so he's going to have to pit at least once more, you'd feel. He's on a pretty much what was his original one-stop strategy, but now with a lot fresher tyres and way down in 16th place. As long as he gets some points and he's showing some pace there, fastest lap of the race, just show him how much them soft tyres probably already struggling. Not on the Renault, he's looking pretty good. And Denge, however, low on fuel. That's not a concern at this point in the race. The drivers will burn less fuel as the race goes on, obviously, as their cars get lighter and they're not having to accelerate as much mass, turn as much mass, brake as much mass. They will, of course, be burning less fuel. Droftas, though, all over the back of him, and it is crucial for the Mercedes driver on his strategy when he's on the faster tyres that you don't get held up. That is going to be a big part of this race, not getting held up when you're on the faster tyres. Are we going to see any drivers coming to the pits this lap? No, we are not. Paulie Orange has made his way past Fatality, and it looks like Cruxy is going to follow through as well. So I'm not sure if there was a bit of a mistake from Fatality. Cruxy gets a penalty. That's a definite mistake. And Fatality says, you know what? I fancy taking this position back. Down the inside into turn 1. And Fatality then gets that 5th place. Loses it through 2 and 3 for a second there. Oh, there is contact. There is contact. Cruxy and Fatality have come together, and I don't think the Ferrari driver is going to be too happy about that. I'm not sure whether there was just a bit of wheel spin that sends him into the back of the racing point, but a shame for him as it has dropped him a long way down the order. And Andenge and Droftas really fighting over this second position at the moment. Andenge is having to defend so hard to hold on to it. It's holding the pair of them up. It's going to allow Paulie Orange, you'd think, to catch up anytime soon. But yes, Andenge doing a great job of defending. KRC gets his way past Immortal. DRS assisted pass, he won't care. 13th and 14th, there is a swap there, and you've got NUF1 trying to think about a move all the way around the outside. Here we are then on board with the Alfa Romeo driver. Will be in the DRS zone. Now opens for DRS. Can he get that position done then? All the way round the outside of 7 into the inside line for the next corner. And that is 8-12. He's hanging on there. Here is Immortal. He's going to try and hang on. You can see there on the inside at turn 8. In the end, loses that position. NUF1 on the softer tyres, on the better tyres at this point in the race. Gets his way back up into 14th. And still, Droftas has not found a way past Andenge. The biggest winner from this battle, or the biggest winners, are Paulie Orange and Energetic 6. And there we go. First pit stop for one of the lead cars. And it is Andenge in the Williams into the pits from what was second place. You can see there the pit window is open. He will come out in 12th position, assuming there are no other pit stops. And it looks as though everyone else is staying out a bit longer. For the first driver to blink, medium tyres on, definite 2-stop strategy. Comes out again in 12th position. He'll be going for the mediums once more later on in the race. Could still be a good performance from Andenge, but you can see now about 25-second pit stop loss here at Singapore because of the slow speed limit in the pit lane. Only 60 kilometers an hour, approximately 37 miles per hour. NUF1 now in the DRS of KRC, not close enough to do anything about it. And further up, Aylan still behind Ollie and Mars. And Mars, you think it won't be long before these rest of these drivers from these soft tyres come in. So Energetic, Paulie Orange, Mars and Fatality. Don't think it'll be too long before they're coming into the pits to get rid of a set of the soft tyres. Maybe the virtual safety car has helped them just stretch. Maybe no, you never know. Maybe just help them stretch an extra bit of life out of them, but they will be really starting to struggle now. And you can see that even with the DRS, Mars is about a second behind Ollie at the moment. Will probably drop out of DRS range next time around. And at that point, there really is no point for him to just stay out on circuit. It's just prolonging the inevitable. And now that Droftas is free from Energetic 6 and Droftas in car 89, which of course Jack Aitken is using this weekend in the Formula 1, replacing George Russell, who's done an absolutely fantastic job in the Mercedes in the dark to get second place in qualifying. And Droftas, he'll be hoping he can go one better, 1.1 seconds off the lead of this race at this moment in time. Paulie Orange a further 3.5 seconds back. Cruxy on the mediums as well. He's in 4th position at the moment, 7 seconds off the lead, and I don't think he'll be feeling too bad. Whether there'll be anything to do with his incident with Fatality later, we're not sure, as the Ferrari driver does come into the pits after starting in second place. It has not been the start to the race Fatality would have wanted. To drop behind Andenge, who had a fantastic move early on, dropped behind Droftas, and then obviously the incident with Crooksy has just ruined his race ever so slightly, and he is going to come out, I believe, and it's going to be very close with this battle for 15th, well not, he's now 14th place. He's going to be just behind these guys. Jonathan Cox, then our championship leader, trying to work his way up the order, and this could really bring Andenge, Ireland, Paulie Orange right back into the thick of the championship action, right where they'll probably think that they belong. Back to the lead then, Energetic 6 still in the lead, a 7th lap on those soft tyres. He's doing an absolutely fantastic job of keeping them in a decent condition. I was expecting by the end of last lap really everyone on the softs to have come into the pits, so fair play to Paulie Orange and Mars. They are putting in a very good performance at this moment in time, and a performance of tyre management that I probably wasn't expecting, as Alan now makes his way past Mars. Oh, and there's a spinner, and it is the racing point of Mars. He's just having to do a bit of a 3, 4, 5 point turn here to avoid getting in any damage, and does that successfully. And Roftas still all over the back of Energetic 6, who is still staying out on circuit. Paulie Orange has come into the pits. You'd imagine Andenge is going to be able to pull off one hell of an undercut here once the pit stop period has pulled its way through. And to be fair to Energetic 6, he's got a lot of ERS, so he might have half a chance of being able to defend this position, although Roftas has got so much more grip at the moment, gets the move done. Energetic trying to hold on all the way around the outside. He will have to cede that position though. Roftas takes the lead of this race, and Energetic 6 then down into second on those soft tyres. Surely we have to see the Renault driver coming to the pits this lap, and Jonathan Cox picks up another penalty and sends one down the inside of Immortal. Immortal probably feels like he was shoved off track ever so slightly there. They're still going side by side here, and there we go. Jonathan Cox is now up into 13th place, but has picked up a few penalties. I think any points that he can get, he will gratefully receive in this race. Mars comes out in last place, and despite all that chaos that we've had at the start of this race, a virtual safety car pretty much after turn 1, we have still got all 17 runners. Whether that stays the same as the fuel load comes down, as the tyres start to wear a bit more, whether we'll see a few more mistakes. Energetic 6 making a few minor ones, and I think the major one he's made is staying out on these tyres 2 seconds. Now back to Roftas, and at this moment in time Energetic 6 will come out ahead of Paulie Orange, but it'll be a long way behind some of these other drivers. It'll be a long way behind Alan, as there we go, Energetic 6 is into the pits, and I wonder if him and Paulie Orange have gone long to just try and make a one-stop strategy work at the end of the race, or if not, they will at least be able to come onto the soft tyres, as there we go. It is going to be the hards for Energetic 6. I can't see this one-stop strategy working for these drivers. I think they will have to make a second pit stop, but fair play for them to try it, and if it does work out, they'll be looking very good indeed. It's just whether they've got the pace to do anything about it. Energetic 6 is going to come out just ahead then of Paulie Orange, and there we go. That's out. In fact, it's going to be very close on the apex, and I think Paulie Orange has got him. Yes, he has. That's how much he lost. It was about a 3-second gap before Orange came into the pits. That's how much extra grip he's got on those hard tyres. He is now up into 9th place as NUF1 picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So it might all start to quieten down now in the pit lane for the next 2 to 3 laps before we see those medium runners start to come in. Roftas leading, Crooksy is second, and Ole, Alan, and this battle that we have got for 5th and 6th place between Art Van Talay and Farhad. Both started on the medium tyres, both have picked up 5 seconds of penalty so far, being involved in that incident on lap 1, I presume, and both have had fantastic starts to the race after starting 14th and 16th respectively, as Jonathan Cox has made his way past a Ferrari off fatality. We said he might need to get his elbows out in this race, and he's more than capable of doing that. He is now up into 13. Could still pick up some of the lower ends of the points. I think anything more than that is going to be a big struggle though for our championship leader. 44 points ahead. Let's not forget, going into this ahead of Alan. Here comes fatality with the DRS down the inside. Just couldn't get the car stopped in time. Jonathan Cox left him a car's width and no more. We know what Jonathan, he's hard but fair, I think it's fair to say. Sometimes he treads that line very carefully, but he was well entitled to that corner. He left the car's width, and fatality just couldn't get the car quite stopped in time. Thankfully though, no damage done there. But the Ferrari looking very racy despite being behind the Alpha Tauri. He'll have DRS next time. Well, this time around we'll have DRS while Fatality just loses a bit in the dirty air coming through 22 and 23. It's very difficult to get a car going through there when you are following so closely to another car, as Jonathan Cox has gone very deep and there's a slight sliver of an opportunity here down the inside into turn 7 maybe on this DRS straight. If he can get a good enough exit down here, Jonathan Cox has got no ERS to defend with, so it's going to have to be a move with a long way round, I think, from Fatality. Not able to do so, but this defending will be holding Jonathan Cox up, and it will be wearing his tyres out. Let's not forget, 5 laps tyre difference between these two. Fatality doing a cracking job at the moment, but looks like he might just have to settle for being behind Jonathan Cox at the moment. And the next target for the Alpha Tauri will be NUF1, 7 seconds up the road. And the battle between DVN and Vanderlei has gained 2 extra cars. Gods, who is yet to pit, who is on the hard tyres, which must be feeling pretty good at this moment in time, and Andenge, who is going to try every trick in the book to try and get his way to the front of this train as soon as possible, because if he wants to win this race, if he wants to make this 2-stop work, he's now got to force his way up through the traffic, pushing Gods around the final corner. No ERS down the inside on the brakes anyway. Can he get that position done? He can indeed. He is now up into 7th. He'll have DRS on Vanderlei, but with no ERS to attack, he's just going to have to wait a bit longer, and if he comes close to winning at the end of this race, this lack of ERS and not being able to take advantage might cost him ever so slightly. We'll have to see how it goes for the Swede. In 7th place at the moment, the lead car out of those that have pitted. And you can see the next car that has pitted is Paulie Orange. 8 seconds up the road, but on those hard tyres, is he going towards the end of this race? And still Vanderlei in 6th. He's now the meat in a Williams sandwich. DVN, Vanderlei, and Andenge. Gods dropping back ever so slightly, but just look at the grip Andenge has got under braking. Is he able to send one down the inside into the hairpin? Not this time. Vanderlei runs wide. That might be all the invitation Andenge needs. He says thank you very much. He's now up into 6th place. Vanderlei has DRS, has ERS, isn't able to get the move done though. Next is Farhad, and if there's any communication between these two, Farhad will be jumping out of the way to let his teammate by. They're not full-time teammates, of course. Farhad is only a reserve, so I don't think Andenge will be expecting too much help as our race leader dropped us into the pits. Hard tyres going on. This could be crucial to see where he comes out relative to Paulie Orange and Energetic 6. I think it's going to be pretty close. Cruxy gets himself a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He's going on to I think it was a set of the hard tyres as well, so he'll be serving that penalty at the end of the race. All being well for him, Farhad is into the pits now. Let's watch out for Droftas up ahead, and he's just going to be behind Paulie Orange. So Paulie Orange in 6th place yet. Droftas is very close to Energetic 6, and the Renault just works his way ahead. So Energetic in 7th, Droftas in 8th. None of these drivers, I believe, have, well, Orange and Energetic 6 might be cutting it close, but Droftas and Cruxy don't have to come into the pits. Again, an Immortal. He's now ahead of Farhad DVN, who is down in 15th, 16th position, coming out just behind Mars. And Nathan still going around in last place at the moment. Could still get some points though. Safety cars, whatever could happen towards the end of this race, you never quite know, as Fatality gone trying to go all the way around the outside of Jonathan Cox here and gets the position done. Those pressure. Oh, Jonathan Cox in the wall. Very slight tap in the wall that might have given him some minor front wing damage. End plate is still attached. Thankfully, can't see any of front wing damage, but he's not enjoying himself at this moment in time. He's going to have to pit again. He's in 13th, and Fatality might now just pull away ever so slightly on that Ferrari on the fresher tyres. Leader of the race, though, is the other Ferrari. Is currently only 1.5 seconds ahead of Alem. And you'd be expecting these drivers to go another 6-7 laps to go onto the mediums and be as quick as they can at the end of the race, as Vanderlei is now battling with Paulie Orange for 5th position. And I think that, yeah, the Alpha Tauri driver wanted to get into the pits there. Has he got a puncture? He seems to be travelling very slowly indeed here. Has Vanderlei got some sort of issue? He's travelling very slowly into the pits there, but I could not see any puncture on his car. That is going to cost him dearly. He's going to drop a long way down the order, and Paulie Orange has now got a bit of free air until he catches up to Gods. And Denge, he's got a bit of free air until he catches up to Aylan, and at the moment he's got about a 6-second gap back to Paulie Orange, so he needs to find 20 seconds, you'd think, in the final 18 laps. He'll have much better tyres at the end of this race to do so, but it's still going to be quite a big ask indeed for him to be able to do that. So this could be very interesting indeed. So Andenge in third place. Gods is fourth. Orange, Energetic 6, and Droftas as Immortal picks up a penalty. This could be the battle to watch for the win at the end of this race, and Paulie Orange is the only one who's kept it clean at the moment, but Droftas has the fresher tyres, so will we be in a similar situation to the previous race where Droftas takes it over checkered flag, but penalties end up rewarding it to a Haas driver, and the second win in a row for Paulie Orange could be on. That could put him in a very good situation for the championship, seeing as it looks unlikely Jonathan Cox is going to get any healthy amount of points. At the moment, he's in 12th place. He's dropped a long way off the back of Fatality. I wonder if he has picked up a bit of front wing damage. We're trying to see if there are any chips on that end plate. They are usually a bit of a sign, and can't really see them at the moment. It'd be great if we could get a slow motion camera shot. So he's nearly in the wall again. He is really struggling at the moment on those mediums. I don't think it'll be too long before he's coming in, put a set of the hard tyres on to take you towards the end of this race, but he pits now. He's coming out way down in 16th place. And now Gods is under a bit of pressure from Paulie Orange. Next time around, Orange will have had the DRS down that straight, I think, but next time around he might have it again as Immortal gets past CRX Mars then. Not sure if Mars went for a move there that didn't quite pay off, because you'd expect him to be the one on the pace. 5-lap-old mediums against 11-lap-old hard tyres, and this should be fairly straightforward pass. Immortal, though, has plenty of ERS to defend with if he chooses to. The racing points being forced for a long way round. Gets it done, though, later on the brakes on those grippier tyres. He's now up into 13th, and he'll set his sights on our championship leader. 7 seconds up the road. Droftas all over the back of Energetic 6. Just can't get the move done. A bit like earlier on in this race, just seems unable to get it done at the moment. And while Energetic has got DRS, that is going to make it ever harder. The DRS train, of course, if you're the third man in the train, can be a bit of a nightmare to overtake the car in front, and they could find it very difficult. Ole then coming on to lap 15 of this race. Aylan in second, and Andenge starting to reel them in on those medium tyres. Still only, though, about 6 seconds ahead of Paulie Orange. Got to say, just doesn't look like this two-stop strategy. He's got the pace. He might have to hope that Orange and Energetic 6 go into some big tyre trouble, and Droftas at the end of this race. Otherwise, it might not even be a podium. As Fatality made a mistake. He has indeed. He's made a big mistake coming out of the penultimate corners. And there we go. Fatality into the pits. A big spin coming out of turn 21. What set of tyres will he be going for? It's going to be hard for the end of the race. Paulie Orange gets it done in the DRS zone. And now Energetic 6 down the inside of Gods as well. Droftas just hanging back to try and take advantage if an opportunity presents itself here. He's not really had things go the way he'd have wanted there. He's just going to have to stay behind Gods for a bit longer, and this could cost him dearly, because it's clear that Gods has got no pace at the moment on 14-lap-old hard tyres. Droftas can't send one down the inside. Gods is going to have DRS, of course, down this straight, as is the Mercedes, and Gods has got the ERS, and he's just able to hold on to that 6th position for now. Paulie Orange is just escaping up the road from this battle. He's 1.3 ahead of Energetic 6. Now Droftas has got the move done down the inside, earns himself another penalty doing so. Didn't work out as ideal as he'd have wanted, and he's dropped a second behind Energetic, who has dropped 1.5 seconds behind Paulie Orange. Things could be looking pretty good for the Haas driver if he can get those tyres towards the end of the race, and things really closing up then for the lead of this race. The other Haas car within half a second then briefly of Ole, but he's got Andenge behind him, who is soon going to be suffering from that same situation of being being third in the DRS train as KRC gets ahead of Cruxy, who must have made a mistake somewhere because the hard tyres have only done 3 laps and the Racing Point driver is feeling the need to come into the pits, and it's going to be a set of mediums. Serves his 5-second penalty. He should get those mediums towards the end of the race. Might struggle a bit for tyre pace at the end, and it is a broken front wing. So yes, Cruxy drops a long way down the order. He will come out, I believe, just ahead of Nathan in 14th place, and he'll come a long way ahead of Nathan because the McLaren comes into the pits. Back towards the lead battle then. There we go, Nathan has retired from the race. So our first retirement then, down to just 16 runners. And still no retirement out on track though. That is a big achievement for a circuit as tricky as the Marina Bay Circuit here in Singapore. Alan still all over the back of Oneole then. Ferrari driver trying to hold on to that 10th place in the championship. That is, well, has he got 10th place in the championship or I completely made that? Oh, no, I haven't. He is 10th place in the championship at the moment, but those hards will be starting to shred themselves. Another lap or two, and I think we'll be seeing both of these two come into the pits. Gods won't be far behind either. And that'll be music to Alan's ears, or music to Andenge's ears, I should say, but he's taking the best out of those medium tyres. He's not really closing. He's not really threatening these guys, and Paulie Orange, if anything, is closing up to the back of him, just falling a bit seconds ahead. Energetic 6 and Droftas have got back within DRS range down the inside. Goes Andenge, Alan goes a bit deep there, and that gratefully gives the Ferrari driver a bit of a free air and allows Andenge to take that second position. Still in DRS range, all these guys, apart from Alan, running a bit low on ERS at this point in the race as Jonathan Cox makes his way up ahead of KRC and NUF1, who both pit, so that promotes our championship leader up into 8th place. Mars up into 9th, and Farhad DVN is now up into the points. Fatality's just ghosting there. He'll be pushing as hard as he can just in case anything happens in this race. Although you've got to say, once you're lapped down, your chances of taking advantage of anything due to a safety car are pretty slim, because obviously you will have to stay in traffic. But he's showing that he's got some pretty good pace on those medium tyres, so he might even be starting to pull away from these guys ever so slightly. You can just see on traction there how much he's able to drive through Energetic 6. So this battle for 5th and 6th, and Droftas only 5 seconds off the lead of the race at this moment in time. Ole, of course, hasn't pitted and Alan hasn't pitted, but they're going to have a mighty job on that final set of medium tyres to get any good results out of this race. I think at the moment they would both come out just ahead of Jonathan Cox. It would be pretty close, and we know Jonathan has to pit again, so they will come out round about where the Alpha Tauri driver is at the moment, but it's still going to be a bit longer. They're holding it out as long as possible. Ole in the lead, 14 laps to go, and Energetic 6, our pole sitter, round at the final corner. An absolute nightmare for the Renault drive. He was looking pretty good for a chance at a podium. I think any chance of a good result has now just gone out of the window. Loses plenty of time. He is down in 7th position. Could even be under threat from Mars in the next few laps as well, so that is one to watch out. Energetic 6 drops down to 7th. That promotes Droftas up into 5th place. Means Paulie Orange isn't under any pressure from the Renault. He'll be under pressure though from the Mercedes driver, and Droftas might just be grateful for the chance to attack someone who doesn't have DRS. If he wants any chance of winning this race, he's currently got to get 6 seconds ahead of Paulie Orange and ahead of Alan, who will be coming into the pits as well, as Cruxy now sets the fastest lap of the race as he's trying to get a bonus point in a race where I'm sure he'd have been hoping for a bit more from that. The driver Cruxy, currently 8th in the championship on 96 points, could well be dropping back behind Droftas, who was 11th going into Italy. Probably a bit too late for the Mercedes driver to pick up a championship challenge. He is a reserve as well, so he's not guaranteed to be racing every weekend, but when he is racing, he's proving he is one to watch, and he's always going to be somewhere near the front, as of course are Orange and Alan, and that is why Haas are leading the Constructors' Championship at the moment. They're 3rd and 4th in this race, and both of them will be thinking they've got a fantastic chance to move up the order, as Andenge is in for his 2nd stop before we've even seen the leader coming in for his first. So Andenge into the pits, off of the medium tyres, should come out fairly close to where Jonathan Cox is at this moment in time. It will be a set of mediums for the Haas, it will be a set of mediums for the Williams as well, and it's a straight pit crew race between these two drivers. And I thought for a second the Haas team had won it, just a bit of an illusion there, and you can see Energetic 6 coming down the straight. He will come out ahead of these two drivers. Jonathan Cox, I think, will be just ahead of the Haas of Aylin, and so will Mars as well. So that's not worked out for Aylin, dropping behind those two on slower tyres. He'll be able to make his way up, and then UF1 gets ahead of Immortal, and Cruxy sets the fastest lap again. Immortal into the pits, 13 remaining, and it is still Ona Ole in the lead of this race, and Drofdas has worked his way past Paulie Orange. While we were watching the pit stop battle, Drofdas is up into second position. He's got he'll have some free air soon when Ole comes into the pits. He's got the fresher tyres. Has he got the pace to build a 6-second gap as Aylin straight away working his way up the order? Gets his way past Mars, who earns himself a penalty as well. So that is Aylin up into 8. Jonathan Cox for next target, and you can just see Andenge. He's absolutely shot up the road at the moment. 24.4 seconds off the lead of this race. How good of a finish can he get? A podium definitely on for Andenge here. Any more than that, I think he's going to be a bit of a struggle, but definitely still in with a huge shout of getting himself a podium. His Fatality gets a penalty. Drofdas ahead of Ole, who finally comes into the pits. Now, you've got to say it is between these two for the race win. As long as Paulie Orange as long as no one picks up any more penalties out of these two, as long as Paulie Orange finishes within 6 seconds, for a second week in a row, he will take a win, and for a second week in a row, it will be penalties that have cost Drofdas. The Welshman in the Mercedes, though, has the fresher tyres. Looks like he might have the pace advantage as well, especially from his qualifying session on those mediums. Could this be fantastic race for him? Ole coming out just ahead of Aylin, and Gods into the pits, and Jonathan Cox as well. And he is going to come out a long way down the order behind Mars, serving a... I'm not sure if the team weren't ready for him there, or if he's serving a time penalty. Mars gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so Jonathan Cox will come out in 12th place. Has to go onto a set of hard tyres, as he's been on mediums all throughout the race, so has to go on the hards. Only going to do 12 laps on these hard tyres. I'm not sure this is an optimum strategy, if I'm being honest. Could still pick up some points. It's going to be a big challenge, though, and might have to rely on a safety car or mistakes from those up ahead. Mars coming out in 14th position. Andenge has worked his way past Energetic 6. For him, it should now be a fairly straightforward one to the podium. If he can keep it nice and clean, check what the penalties are like. He's got 6 seconds. Might have to watch out maybe for Ole later on, and maybe for Aylin as well. But this could be a good return to form for the Williams driver after a bit of a disastrous race last time out by his standards, only managing to finish in 12th position, thanks partly to an absolute chunk of penalties. 14 seconds getting added on. Oh, he's Mars out of the race. Where has he dragged it against the wall, or has he just retired out on track? Hopefully we're not going to get any safety car. Yeah, he's got big front wing damage, so I think that's why he's retired from the race. And Energetic 6 is into the pits, as he decided that those hard tyres aren't going to make it to the end. He was our pole sitter. He's going to drop a long way out the order. He's going to drop behind Cruxy. He'll be a long way ahead of Jonathan Cox, so he'll still be in the points. No, he won't be in the points, and it is a front wing change, so damage for the Renault driver. Comes out in 11th place on a set of medium tyres. He's going to be lightning fast towards the end of this race, and that means Andenge is free from trouble. Ole up into 4th place. Could we see a Ferrari driver get on the podium? We perhaps expected it to be Fatality, but he's way down in 14th place at the moment. Ole, having started 11th, that magical 11th place, getting a fresh choice of tyres, could still earn him a podium here. We'll have to wait and see how things go in the latter stages, but he's still in 4th place for now and still doing a pretty decent job indeed. Out in front though, just over 10 laps remaining. Drofdas not pulling away at the rate of knots he'd like to. 1.5 seconds at the moment back to Paulie Orange. And Denge long way back. No worries These two are, barring any mistakes, punctures or extra pit stops, are finishing 1-2 in this race. And it all depends on how much can Droftas take out of those 4-lap fresher tyres as to whether he's going to keep his first position or have it cruelly taken away by penalties once more. Andenge is third, Ole fourth, Alan in fifth, Farhad and KRC are pretty close together. It's been a bit of an under-the-radar race from KRC. After his damage early on, can still get a pretty handy finish though out of this with 6th position. Gods is in 8th, NUF 9, Crooksy 10th, Energetic 6th, long way off the points in 11th, and then Jonathan Cox, our championship leader. Unless he picks for a fastest lap point at the end, he's not going to be getting any points. KRC straight down the inside of Farhad, runs a bit deep. I think just spooked Farhad ever so slightly then as he tried to get onto the track. Don't think there was too much wrong with that though. And a very late lunge from KRC, it paid off. Sometimes you've got to do that to get the overtake done. Here's up into 6th place. Farhad will have the DRS though, as will Gods, and just deciding to sit back for now. The 2 ahead are low on the DRS. Gods with the fresher tyres, could he maybe get himself a top 6 finish here? That would be a fantastic performance from the Alfa Romeo driver, who is currently 16th in the championship with 17 points. Had his best result of the season so far, with the 6th last time out, and can easily match that here today, although he would need to get 3 seconds ahead of the pair ahead of him. Andenge with the fastest lap of the race, and still 19 seconds off the lead. Maybe just a mood for settling for that 3rd position for now, which will be the best anyone has done from a 2-stop strategy here, but it does look as though the others are too far away as Gods down the inside of Farhad. Alan picking up a penalty, a bit of a rare occurrence from the Haas driver. Well, look at that, loads of penalties. The only driver who has not got any penalties whatsoever at this moment in time is this guy in the Haas. 3 seconds off the lead of this race, and if he drops a further 3 seconds back, he will stay in 2nd place. It is Paulie Orange, but as it stands at the moment, he would move himself up into 2nd place in the championship. Even assuming he does finish in 2nd place, he would move up to 2nd in the championship, 31 points behind Jonathan Cox, and it would still be Alan just holding on to 3rd above Andenge. Those drivers are all closing into Jonathan Cox. It's going to be a fantastic end to the season. The Russian Grand Prix next time around, as Energetic 6 picks up the fastest lap of the race, and Crooksy retires in the pit, so he is out of the race. Both racing points then retiring, and NUF 1 now makes his way past Farhad. As I was saying, the Russian Grand Prix round 17 out of 22, the final one before the break for Christmas, will be next week, where I believe this man will be making his full-time return back to the commentary box. NUF 1 for some reason deciding that out of all the tracks he wanted to drive on the game, although, to be fair, I can see why you'd want to drive Singapore. If it was Sochi, I'd be feeling a bit different, but I can see why you want to drive around the Marina Bay Circuit. A very challenging track, but one that can be very enjoyable if you get it absolutely right. He'll be hoping he can maybe catch up to his teammate, who is still trying to catch up to KRC at this moment in time. We've had 3 retirements from this race, and none of them have been actually retirements in the wall. There's another penalty for Andenge. This could well put Ole on the podium here. Alan just doesn't seem to have the pace on those medium tyres. Has he picked up any damage anywhere? He hasn't got any severe damage, just doesn't have the pace. He was right behind Andenge at the pit stop, let's not forget. He's now 12 seconds behind all of a sudden, just in a world of his own, not putting Ole under any pressure. 5th place, he'd have taken that after a disastrous qualifying, not setting a lap. I think he'd have been hoping for a bit more. Whereas Andenge's extra penalty means Ole could be looking very good. At the moment, the race finished now, Paulie Orange would take the win, Droftas would be 2nd, and Ole would be 3rd. But for Droftas and Andenge, it does look like they've got more pace than Orange and Ole, and that could change everything. You can see there, 4.4 seconds for gap for Droftas, and needs to find another 1.5 seconds and keep it clean if he wants to take a fantastic victory here. A victory which would move him ahead of Crooksy and Gelato up into 7th in the championship. Sort of best of the rest out of the non-title contenders. That's still including the top 6. You've got to say, with the pace that Total P shows when he comes back, he could be a championship contender. KRC's got the consistency, and if it falls apart for some of the others, he's got a chance. But Droftas does have an opportunity to maybe, just maybe, move into 7th in the championship at the moment. And I do wonder when we'll see some of those outside the top 10 go for that fastest lap point. Especially the man currently in 11th place. Championship leader Jonathan Cox stands to get no points from this race at this moment in time. And he's going to need an absolute miracle to get any points for a race result in the top 10. He pits now. He'll come out in plenty of free air. Put a fresh set of soft tyres on. Could get himself a fastest lap point. And that could be crucial at the end of the season. And just... it's very small damage mitigation. Damage limitation, but it is damage limitation nonetheless. So I think we could see some of these outside the top 10 come into the pits soon and put themselves a fresh set of the soft tyres on. So it all seems to be spacing out all of a sudden. KRC looks so he's got the pace of gods at the moment. Looks so he's a bit too far back behind Alan to really catch him up. So it's all a bit of a time trial now for the top, well, for the podium positions. Can Andenge get far enough ahead of Ole, and can Droftas get far enough ahead of Orange? Both of them need to find an extra second to finish in the positions that they currently are at this moment in time. As we get a lovely helicopter shot there as we're following KRC round at this moment in time. The race just seems to be heading towards an end at this moment. We'll go on board with God, see what sort of pace he's doing at this moment in time. %30% ERS. A lot of drivers do seem to be fairly low on ERS around here. We've got KRC as, fatality into the pits, and I think this is going to be... he's definitely got the pace. He finished second in qualifying, so we know he can make these softs work. He's going for that fastest lap point, and might as well get a new fresh front wing on it as well. And because he's ghosting, he doesn't really have to worry about coming out in any traffic whatsoever. So fatality, he's the first man to blink and possibly go for that fastest lap point. And another time penalty for Jonathan Cox. Surely him, Immortal, and Art Vanderlei have got to think about doing the same soon if they want to salvage anything from this race. The gap at the lead has stabilised ever so slightly. Droftas had pulled it away a bit, but it is staying now round about 5 seconds. Paulie Orange, even with those older tyres, I think he's got to try and stop within 6 seconds of Droftas and try and make sure he doesn't get these hards to a point where he's under threat of a puncture at the end of the race, because that could be so cruel. After a fantastic performance last time out where he had a drive-through penalty after qualifying on pole, but still came home to take the checkered flag. Originally in second place, but Droftas' 3-second time penalty promoted him up into first. That could happen as well today, with a puncture at just the one point of the track, and he might not even score any points. If he pits now, he'd come out probably behind KRC and wouldn't work his way back up again. So he's got to just stay out and try and make this work and try and just hold on, I think, for second place. Holding on to Droftas for first is going to be a mighty challenging task indeed. On board then with Andenge, fastest lap at the moment. Then we'll just have a quick check. Is Energetic 6 on a 1:37.370, and in fact Energetic 6 is starting to he's working his way up the order. He's catching up to Farhad. So there could maybe be a battle on at the end of the race between those two drivers, both on 3 seconds of penalties. So at this moment, they will finish 4 seconds apart from each other. But you'd expect Energetic to have the pace and could still salvage a few points from a race where himself and Fatality, let's not forget, 1-2 on the grid those, currently in 10th and 14th. They will have been hoping for a lot more from this race, I am sure. We've only got, though, 5 laps remaining here then. No, 4.5 if we're being picky. Droftas in the lead, 5.8 seconds ahead of Paulie Orange. Surely if he just keeps it clean, he's taking this victory, and a well-deserved victory it will be, making that alternate strategy work. And you've got to feel for Jonathan Cox, if it hadn't been for that first lap incident, he could have well been up there challenging at least for a podium, if not a win. It looks as though that fastest lap point is the only chance he's got of getting any points whatsoever. Unless he comes into the pits to change onto the soft tyres, he won't even be getting that, of course. Paulie Orange then has dropped out behind 6 seconds, so that's good news for Droftas, and Andenge is now more than 6 seconds ahead of Oneole, so that is good news for him as well. Cheers for the comments, Dan. Glad you're enjoying this race at the moment. Droftas then leading, 4 laps to go, and net half a second lead. All he's got to do, you feel, is keep it clean, and he will be rewarded with victory in about 6-7 minutes time. But 1 lapse of concentration around these walls and it could all end in tears. And I said we might see these two battling on the final laps. We're going to be seeing it a lot earlier than that. Farhad lost a lot of pace all of a sudden. I'm not sure if he's damaged his car. I can't see anything. But Energetic 6 is flying up to the back of him on these medium tyres. Currently in 10th place, and we could soon see a move as they start lap 28. Energetic just losing out, washing out in the dirty air ever so slightly, and Energetic says down the inside I'm coming. There we go. Great move from the Renault driver up into 9th place as he's desperate to salvage any points that are possible from this race to try and help him further up the order. But he's picked up a time penalty, so he now needs to pull away 3 seconds from Farhad, who is in with DRS. He uses his DRS. He'll be flashing red, though, at the back for being below 10%. Looks like that position is done, and there we go then. We knew it was coming at some point. Jonathan Cox puts on those soft tyres to try and get that elusive and special fastest lap point that could well make the difference for him in this championship by the end of the season. It will at least reduce the damage tonight by an extra point, because it does look as though Paulie Orange will be gaining 17 points on him and will be closing up to within 31 points of the championship lead going into the Russian race next time around. 3 laps to go. Droftas looking though he's pretty much in control at the moment. KRC is closing up to Alan, who with the pace he was showing on the hard tyres, he was pretty similar to Ole. So all I can think of is picked up a minor bit of damage, or his setup is just not working on these tyres. He's really struggling at this moment in time. Let's not forget, he came out of the pits right behind Andenge. He's lost 20 seconds to him. He lost quite a few of them on the first lap, so we could say about 15 seconds in the remainder of this stint. And KRC on the older tyres is starting to catch up, as that's how hard Jonathan Cox is pushing. Picked up a time penalty, 4 multiple warnings. He's definitely going for this fastest lap at the moment. You see KRC, despite having the older tyres, he's not doing too bad of a job on Alan, and he's getting DRS off the lap car of Fatality, who could soon be cruising his way past Alan and into a bit more free air, because he's going for the fastest lap point as well, of course, although he's taking the best out of those tyres. Those softs, they're pretty much only good for about 2 or 3 laps, and then you are starting to struggle with that peak grip when you're pushing the tyres over and over again for a few laps. But you can see he's not struggling too much at the moment, and it is Alan is nearly within a second of KRC. There could well be a battle on track and on the penalties as well for 5th position here, so we'll watch that space towards the end of this race. It could also be a battle between NUF1 and Energetic 6, who is flying his way up the order. He's going to get that moved on penalties anyway, so we will see these two swap around as it stands. But Energetic 6, showing the pace that he had, could he have maybe been involved in the battle for the lead of this race? He'd have definitely had a fantastic chance of getting a podium. And 8th place looks like being the best consolation prize he can manage then, with 2 laps remaining. Droftas is still just keeping that gap at about 6.5 seconds to Paulie Orange, and that will be good enough to give the Welshman a victory, which would be an absolutely fantastic performance from him. But Energetic 6 in 9th position at the moment, still behind NUF1. The battle for 5th and 6th raging on. KRC all over the back of Alan at this moment in time. Has he got the pace to do it? Alan looks to have a bit of spare ERS, so looks as if he wants to use that to defend. He would definitely be able to. Now, assuming he wants it to defend, I don't see why you wouldn't try and defend that position. Has he got the pace to do so? Because he does seem to be struggling a bit more through the corners. KRC might start suffering now that he's in the dirty air. Because there we go, Energetic has got the move done down on the inside into turn 7. So we just caught the tail end of that as Jonathan Cox sets for fastest lap of the race to provisionally get himself that extra point. And really, Immortal and Vanderlei have left it too late, I believe. Vanderlei could still come into the pit. No, he's left it too late as well, so they've left it too late to get the fastest lap. So you'd have to say Jonathan Cox is going to get that fastest lap, and there's nothing anyone else can really do about it. And Energetic looks as though he's just going to have a calm run now to 8th place. KRC has dropped back quite severely in the dirty air, so I wonder if there's been a mistake from him. He has dropped back behind Alan. We are though on to the final lap of the race. Groftas took a win at Silverstone, took a win at Hungary. Is it going to be another win for him? And you've got to wonder what he could have done in this championship if he wasn't a reserve driver. He has shown some fantastic pace. He's on to move up into 7th place. He won on track the last time around, and it is looking like it is going to be a 3rd win in 5 races then for the Welshman, if he can just navigate his way around these final few corners. A win in France as well, so he's fantastic. He's had 4 wins. This would be his 4th win this season. 3 in a row earlier on in France, Britain and Hungary. I think 4 wins is maybe joint most we've seen with total pace. It's fantastic run of form from Groftas, considering he could have won last time out as well. He only lost by about 0.6 seconds at the checkered flag after penalties. I'm sure a few of the other drivers will be hoping that we get a full house. Oh, Jonathan Cox and Immortal have made contact. So he's got the point for a fastest lap. He's trying to fight his way up into 11th place. And if it doesn't rain when it pours, then for our championship leader, as Orange picks up a penalty, that means no matter what Groftas does pretty much now, that is going to be a victory for the Welshman, for the reserve in the Mercedes. He rounds the final 2 corners to take the checkered flag here at Singapore. It's a win for Groftas. Poorly Orange, great job from him, moves him up into 2nd in the championship with 2nd in the race. And a podium for Andenge. The 2-stop strategy didn't quite work out. Still a great job though to get a podium. A fantastic result as well for Ole. He's going to cross the line in 4th position. Alan will be in 5th, managing to hold on, not quite having the pace of some of the others on those mediums, but still a great improvement from the start of the race, from where he started of course. He finishes 5th. KRC is in 6th. Gods crosses the line in 7th, and Energetic 6th. All he's got to do is chuck it in reverse, mate, and you'll cross the finish line. Chuck it in reverse and you'd have crossed the finish line there. He's still going to get that 8th position. Well, no, actually, he drops behind Farhad. So a great performance from the reserve in the Williams from Farhad. He now gets 8th position. Why, oh, why did Energetic not just throw it in reverse then and head towards the finish line? Energetic is 9th. NUF1 is 10th. Jonathan Cox, our championship leader, will be 11th, but will get that point for the fastest lap as long as he doesn't bin it around the final few corners in a more dramatic fashion. Then Energetic 6th. All looks good for him. Immortal will be 12th. Vanderlei 13th. Fatality 14th. But our race winner then, a 4th victory of the season for Groftas in the Mercedes. A superb performance of how to manage your tyres here at Singapore. A great performance there by Groftas, taking the checkered flag. Wonderful result. Paulie Orange is in 2nd, and Andenge, who's almost looks a bit Jos Verstappen like there on the podium. I mean, we didn't see Jos on the podium too much, so I am guessing a bit here. He takes the 3rd position. Those were your top 3. Ole with a good result to get 4th. Alan recovering from 15th to 5th. KRC putting him under a lot of pressure at the end of the race, so he finished in 6th. Gods was 7th. Farhad just getting 8th after Energetic had that huge spin on the line. That dropped him down to 9th. NUF1 was 10th. Jonathan Cox, 3 pit stops, a point for the fastest lap. He'll have been hoping for a lot more. He was 11th. Immortal 12th. Vanderlei 13th. Fatality 14th. Cruxy, Mars and Nathan are the retirements. So let's hear then from what our top few drivers thought from that race. I'm sure it'll be interesting to hear about the different strategies invited our top 3 drivers then into the party, and hopefully we'll be able to hear soon on how they thought that race went. A great Singapore Grand Prix. No safety cars, which is actually quite surprising indeed. Normally you do get quite a few safety cars around here. We did have the virtual safety car, of course, after the massive whatever happened on lap 1. Still not quite sure how we managed to have a crash on the straight before you got into turn 1. That would definitely be interesting to hear from. We have got a few of our top drivers in, so we're going to have an interview then with our winner. Another victory, the 4th of the season, I believe, for Droftas. Fantastic performance to make that alternate strategy work. Yeah, and he actually did the same thing at the end of the race as well, did Energetic. After that, after you got ahead of Paulie Orange, was it all just about managing your tyres, making sure you didn't get any more penalties and building up that 6-second gap? You've moved yourself up to 7th in the championship. Obviously, any championship challenge is going to be a bit hard, quite a long way back, and you are a reserve driver. Are there any races for the rest of the season that you're hoping you get a chance at and maybe pick up a couple more victories? No one likes Russia. No one likes Russia.
I like Russia. Good track, mate. Good track.
Well, yeah, good job for you today, and congratulations on taking the victory. And Orange, I'm just going to have to start off with, why do you like Sochi?
Sochi, it's a good flowing track. It's great on a wheel.
It's a much better flowing track when you turn corner cutting penalties off, man. It is an amazing track when you do that. But
it's all part of it. You know,
with them, not the same.
Edge, not getting a penalty.
You came so close to actually being the only driver to keep it clean tonight. Was that actually part of your tactics, just to try and avoid getting penalties and hope you could maybe pick up a few positions if other drivers got some?
It was, yeah, but I was a bit too cautious in sector 3 at the end there and ended up cutting a corner because I was going so slow. Oh yeah.
That's an interesting one. Cutting the corner for going so slow, I must say. And was it always the plan for you to then go for the one-stop strategy? Because you did stretch those soft tyres quite long at the start, whereas a lot of the other drivers who won the soft tyres went for a two-stop.
Yeah, I was planning for the one-stop all along. Just because seconds off him at the end. Good result.
A good result from you, a result which moves you up to second in the championship. 32 points now behind Jonathan Cox. It's definitely game on for the final 6 races.
Oh, I'm coming for you, Coxie. I'm coming.
Apart from Russia, is there any tracks where you feel like you'll be particularly strong?
I can't. I'll be honest, I don't know what else is coming up. Other than Russia, what else is there?
Mexico. Other than Russia, there is, it will be Japan, America, like Mexico, Abu Dhabi, and the double pointer at Brazil.
The only one I don't really like is Abu Dhabi, but I'll get a bit of practice in. Be good, should be close.
Yes, it should definitely be close. Droftas, are you alright to just check if you've got your audio shared in the party settings? Because we might have to do all your interview again for all the viewers.
It was unbroadcastable. Too much bad language. PlayStation muting him.
Oh. First world problems.
Got it to set the share because I'm an idiot.
Well, we'll just
first world problems.
I tried the other day to get on Smith's website. At least the website didn't crash for me, but they'd sold out by the time I got onto there. As we were saying, just a great job to get your 4th win of the season, and that one-stop strategy worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it went to plan. Obviously, like I said, I told you just now when only I could hear. Didn't think it was going to work when I came out behind Orange and Hilke, Energetics, but once he lost his car, it was all fine then, just manage the gap.
Yeah, you're not going to be at Russia, so the next time we'll see you is 2021. And which tracks are you looking forward to the best after those?
I like Mexico, and Abu Dhabi's not bad this year, so probably turn up there if there's space.
Yeah,
hello.
I think Abu Dhabi, I only commentated on my first race on that today, so I think that was quite a long time to get into the game. But yeah, congratulations for a win, and it's probably a good job you didn't have your party shared, because that gave just enough time for our third place man to get in. It is Andenge. A good result considering the two-stop strategy in the end, and nice to get back on the podium for yourself.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. First off, I'm just gonna say sorry because I didn't have notifications on. I didn't think that we were gonna do interviews, but anyway, yeah, I pretty much knew that these two gents in the party with me, that they were gonna be 1 and 2. So I just decided to do something different this race and do a two-stop. And at the very end, I think I ended up like 10 seconds or 8 seconds behind Orange. I was pretty happy with my podium anyway, with that result.
Yeah, pretty happy with your podium. It was a pretty lonely race for yourself in the final stint. Was it all just about just keeping your concentration and keeping it clean and making sure you didn't pick up any penalties or pick up any damage, which is very easy to do around this track?
Yeah, pretty much. I was taking it a little bit easy in the second stint because I was in a party with Ole, and I knew that he was not going to have the pace to get the podium off of me at the very end.
Yeah, fantastic job from yourself, and a fantastic job from all of our top three. Will they be able to get any more podiums in the next race at Russia, the final race then before the Christmas break, round 16? And we've had Jonathan Cox's championship lead chopped into tonight after a disastrous first lap for the AlphaTauri driver, but that fastest lap point means he's limited the damage ever so slightly. Brandon will be back in the comms box for the Russian Grand Prix, and I imagine for the remainder of the season. So you might get to see me again, you might not. You'll just have to wait in anticipation. But for myself, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye.